There's the line right there. I'm just waiting for someone to kick my dog.
Welcome to AT Banter, the podcast where we discuss anything and everything regarding the world of assistive technology. With our hosts, Steve Barkley, Rob Minot, and Ryan Fleury. Now, let's banter.
Hey, and welcome to yet another episode of AT Banter. I am Rob Minot, and with me today we have Steve Barkley.
Hey.
And we also have...
I stole your hey.
You did. That's okay. You can have it. You can have that one for free. Next one's going to cost you.
Oh, okay.
And we also have with us Ryan Fleury.
Hey.
Oh, now you're just being fancy.
That's right.
Oh,
I got the four hays.
Wow.
That's one more than Fat Albert.
That's right.
That's right.
I'm skinny Ryan.
That's morbidly obese Albert.
That's double we're the monkeys.
That's right. It's like 8 monkeys.
8 monkeys. That should be a currency.
Monkeys? Was there 4 monkeys or 5 monkeys?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
It's got to be at least 4.
It was 3 or 4.
Yeah.
4, I think.
Yeah.
Can you name them?
I can only name Mike Nesmith, I think.
Well, there's Davy
Davy
Jones.
Jones.
Nesmith.
There's Davy Jones, and there
Maybe
was...
I can't even name him.
Who was that ugly guy? Mickey. The guy with the flat nose. Mickey.
Okay, Google. Who are the monkeys?
According to Wikipedia, the Monkees are an American rock band originally active between 1965 and 1971, with subsequent reunion albums and tours in the decades that followed.
And then there's the Wikipedia link. And we now know there were 4 of them.
Yep.
Peter Tork, Mickey Dolenz, Davy
That's
Jones, and Michael Nesmith.
So shout out to the monkeys wherever you are today.
Hey, you're the monkeys.
Hey, we're AT Banter. Big difference.
Wow. He's been into the scotch already.
Yeah, were we going to get booze for this
Yeah,
show?
That's what I
we
thought.
We
Good.
were. Well, okay. So first of all, I have to say to our audience, we went ahead and we did it. We created an Instagram account.
Woohoo.
So I guess I don't think it's up. I got to figure out how to tie it into the Facebook feed and the WordPress site, but it's there. Anyone who's really super curious, I think if you just search AT Banter, all one word, on Instagram, you will find us. But we'll have links up and going this week. So we've already got a few pictures of the guitar dungeon. Be taking some more. And yeah.
We're going to do a selfie right now.
No.
Yes. Selfie. Here it goes. Oh, hang on. Let's frame the guitars a little nicer. There we go. There we are. All right. Selfie.
Yay.
You heard it here first, folks.
Live on air. Our first Instagram selfie.
Yeah.
Hey, so how's your week been?
So far, it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday once again, and here we are again.
Are we doing coffee on Friday?
Yeah, I
Excellent.
think that's the plan.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's the plan. So now, do we have anything we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about any of the...
I don't know. Has there been any interesting stories that have come up? What was the one I posted to the Canadian Assistive Technologies website?
Well, okay, let me stop you right there. Like, do we want to talk about a little something called Canadian Assistive Technology?
Sure, let's talk about Canadian Assistive Technologies.
What is Canadian Assistive Technologies?
Well, I'm going to let Steve take this because
he knows all about it.
he knows all about it, and take it away, Steve.
Well, as some of you may know, and some of you may not, a little company that the three of us worked for many years, Aroga Technologies, is no more. It has gone bankrupt and been forced into receivership by the bank. So as a result, we're unemployed. So,
Hence, still doing the podcast.
yeah, but, and still doing the podcast. However, I've started my own company, Canadian Assistive Technologies, and we're doing low vision and blindness aids based out of my living room at the moment, and hoping to get it to the point where I will be able to bring back Mr. Ryan and Mr. Rob to join me in the new venture. So, if you're out there and you need stuff, we are found at www.canasstech.com. Yes, I managed to put the ass in assistive technology. That's CANASSTECH. So canasstech.com is the website, which is currently being populated with products. I can be found at steve@canasstech.com. Yeah, we're moving forward.
That's right. So this podcast is now proudly sponsored
By Canadian Assistive Technologies.
That's right.
And we thank you for your sponsorship.
Yes. So bring us booze.
All right, that will be my contribution next time. I will bring a bottle of hooch.
Because we're unemployed and we're into that type
Although I think next week's show is a 10 a.m. start.
Oh, no.
So it's going to be early booze drinking.
Okay, so it'll
Unless
have to
we do
be
it after the
maybe,
show.
Maybe cider.
Yeah, cider.
Yeah,
Cider is
sure.
always a
nice
good
apple
breakfast.
or pear cider
Yeah.
for breakfast. Yeah,
sure.
there you go.
We can do that.
Alrighty. And
Yeah.
any of you out there from the Intemperance League, well, sorry.
Too bad. Yeah, like I don't know about you guys. Like I don't know. I've been getting up with my alarm every morning. I'm still 7 a.m. I get right up and
I'm 8
get
now.
to work.
Yeah.
Oh, did
I
really?
get up at 8, yeah.
You lazy bastard.
Yep.
Me too.
What?
Me too.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I'm up at 7.
I know.
Boom.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like because that's the kind of person I am. Like I love
Yeah.
schedules. I'm a very regulated person. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, me too. At 8.
So. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so that's big news.
Yeah, indeed.
Do you also want to mention what's happening with Rick?
Oh.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. So, also out of this, Rick Chant, our Aroga's former service manager, has started up his own company called Chaos Technical Services. And when it's Rick and Chaos, never was there a more aptly named company. So Chaos Technical Services is up and running to do repairs, things like brailers, CCTVs, basically all the stuff that Aroga used to sell. And you can find them at chaostech@shaw.ca. You can also phone them at 778-847-6840, 778-847-6840. I should also mention that Canadian Assistive Technologies can be reached toll-free at 1-844-795-8324. I'm pretty sure I got that right, but I'll double-check that.
You're right.
8324 is tech, so you probably got it right.
Yeah.
Yep. That sounds right. Yeah. All right. Well. Hey, Ryan.
Rob,
What are we doing today?
today we are talking to a young man from Afghanistan named Mohammad Sayed, who I believe has a really interesting story to tell. And the guy's courageous. That's all I can say.
Yeah. How did you come across him, anyways?
I think I saw a Twitter post from somebody that did an interview with him on Public Radio International back in December. And so I reached out to him, or I had you reach out to find out his contact information.
Right.
And then got in touch with him, and he's on the show.
It's amazing how that works.
It is. Gotta love the
but
internet.
It is. You read a story, and it is pretty amazing. I have to say. So this should be a very good show, and if it's not, it's Ryan's fault.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I second that. Yeah, totally Ryan's fault.
Either that, or we didn't have enough cider.
Yeah, and if
That's
it's a good
true.
show, it's all about us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Well, let's let's not waste any more time, and not that any of this was a waste of time, but let's bring him on.
All right.
Well, we are very fortunate to be talking today to Mohammad Sayed. He is an aspiring inventor and an entrepreneur, And he has a pretty amazing story, I have to say. Mohammed, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Now, for our audience who may or may not know anything about you yet, just give us a bit of your background and your childhood and where you're from.
Well, I had a busy childhood. So when I was around 6 years old, I'm originally from Afghanistan. When I was 6 years old, I lost my legs, and that was 11 days after my mom died. And then my father took me to a hospital, and I never saw him again. So I lived in that hospital for 7 years, and I met a doctor in the hospital who was from the U.S. who, was my doctor. And then after 7 years, when the hospital that was my only home abruptly closed, he told one of his friends who was coming to Afghanistan to work for another foundation, which was an organization. And he said, can you go and look what happened to, to Mo. I call myself Mo now, but back then in Afghanistan, I call myself Sayed. So he said, go see what happened to Sayed. And then one day I was sitting in the hospital, in this huge hospital, and it was like a ghost town, and I was like the only living soul in it. And one of the guards came to me and said, there is a blue-eyed American looking for you. And I found it very strange. I was like, who is this? Like an American who's blue-eyed looking for me? So I came down, and there she was. And we bonded from that moment, and she worked for around 9 months. And then after 9 months, she brought me to the U.S., and that's when I began the new chapter in my life. And that was 28th of July 2009. And 2 years ago, I think a year or two ago, I became a United States citizen, and now I live here.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Indeed. Did you ever find out what happened to your father?
Yeah, my father is still in Afghanistan. When I came here, he started calling me, and he was reasonable. He said if I had taken you home from that hospital, we lived in a mountain. He said, one, you would have never had the opportunity to go to school because in the where I lived in the hospital, my high school was right down the street. And second, he said, I didn't have the resources to take care of you, and you would have lived long. So, I had forgiven him, and those was reasonable reasons, and I didn't have, much anger at him.
Excellent.
As you were saying, when you were 6 years old, you lost your legs. How did you cope? What kind of support mechanisms did you have in place to help you get through some of those hurdles?
I think this is true with a lot of people in Afghanistan. We see a lot of negative things on the news, but there is a lot of positivity. One thing that a lot of Afghans have is they are very resilient, and they are always hopeful. There is the war for so long, but everyone is still hopeful that something better will happen, and that's how I lived. One was my faith. I really believed in it strongly. And second, I was hopeful that, something better will happen. And there is no way I can explain what that meant. It was not like, okay, you go to a coffee shop and buy a coffee. That's the end of the story. Hope is something that, I can't. A lot of people ask me the same question, but there is no way that I can give a direct answer. But I just was hopeful, and I never gave up, and always figured out ways of surviving. I mean, from that age 6, I was an adult. I had to, start a little business in the hospital, selling, fixing the 500 employees' phones and charging them, and then pay for my food and school. So when you are in a situation like that, you have to come with ways of survival. And for me, that didn't just help me, but it gave me the skill and the ability to think, to say, you know what, I have lost my leg, so what? I still have my brain, and I still can do everything like anybody else. And I did it, and I lived.
That's a
If
great
I
attitude.
if I was in Afghanistan, I would have died by the age of 18, as many people say, and now I'm 20 years old. So that's a big progress.
Wow.
Now, how old
Yeah.
were you when you came to the U.S.?
I think I was 12 when I arrived in the U.S. Um, and when I arrived there, I was in a very bad condition. I mean, my back was at problem. So right away when I got here, they did surgery and they straightened my legs and straightened my back. I'm 6 inches taller now. So yeah.
Was it what was it like adapting? When you're 12 and you're coming to a new country.
Well, it is hard. It's like going to a totally new planet, where everything is new. There are, things that are comfortable, there are things that are uncomfortable. For me, it was really hard to go to school with girls and, here people, wear shorts. And in Afghanistan, that's considered being naked. So in some ways, 95% of the U.S. was naked to me. So those were, kind of. Also, when I was in Afghanistan, I went to school um, till 7th grade, and every year I was on top of my class. And here, when I went to school, it wasn't a competitive school, and my English wasn't very good. And it was really hard for me because I was like, I felt stupid, like I was not as smart as these other kids because of, the language barrier and stuff. But over time, I learned and did very well.
Now, tell us a little bit about how you got into the realm of inventing, because you've sort of invented a few pieces of assistive technology. Was that something that you've always had, a flair for invention?
Yeah, well, I know you probably have heard that necessity is the mother of invention. And I think in, when I was in Afghanistan, you know, I had to come with ways of to survive. And I think that's kind of was where my creativity came from, whether it was, solving some other people's basic problem or coming with, some stuff that helped myself. And when I got here also, before even starting school, I always like to, think and, create things. People say I have a very creative mind. So um, I was in regular public school for 2 years. And then I heard about this school that was actually started by some MIT students. And I learned that it's a creative school where you can use 3D printers and stuff. So I said, this is exactly where I want to be. And when I got to that school, it turned out they actually, you have to pay to go. It's kind of like a private school. And I told them, I don't have no money, but I really want to come here and do this. So I think I was one of the first people they gave a scholarship to. So I went there and I learned the programs to, design 3D models and how to use a 3D printer. And then I did a Kickstarter and raised some money from family and friends, and actually bought my own 3D printer to continue on, inventing devices for wheelchairs, because myself, I wanted, a foldable tray and a cup holder that I could only mount it when I want to and then put it in my pocket. So it's not like, you have all these attachments that makes you look like a robot. So I actually 3D printed my own cup holder, and then when I wanted to leave the school, I kind of, really didn't feel very good about, there are all these big companies that make products for wheelchair users, and they are now wheelchair users themselves. How can you create something for someone in a wheelchair if you are not in a wheelchair? It sounds weird to me, but a lot of companies do, and then they over-engineer it so much that it would cost you, you know, they charge you for that. It costs you so much that the average wheelchair user can't afford it.
Right.
So for me, my goal was to create something that would cost a fraction. So I invented this device called the Key to Freedom. And the Key to Freedom actually allows a wheelchair user to make anything lightweight around the household, including your phone or your plate or your existing cup, into a cup holder, or you can simply attach it and use it. And if you get the Key to Freedom compared to these existing products that already have these separate tools, those will cost you $700, while my device, because it's 3D printable, will cost you only its attachment will cost you only $100 or less. And I'm still developing it. Fortunately, I had a big law firm in the U.S., Nixon Peabody. They actually, accepted me as their pro bono client, and two of my inventions right now are patent pending.
Right.
While I focus on developing my superhero, WheelChair Man.
Why don't we get into that? Tell us about WheelChair Man.
So right after I finished school, I founded this 501c3 charitable organization, REMPower Redefining Normal. And the goal of REMPower is to help, people in wheelchair and other disabilities, both physically and psychologically. So while my devices and attachments would help them physically, I invented the first wheelchair user superhero. It was based on my real life story. And that was inspired by, many different things. One, I was like, in this great country that we are in, why isn't there a wheelchair superhero that celebrates the ability and accomplishments of people in wheelchairs? And I feel like, people in wheelchair and people who have disability, now I'm not discriminating against able bodies, so don't feel bad. They are like 10 times stronger because of what they go through. And if they do something similar that an able body would do, they'll do it 10 times better because they wanted to be the best and because they have struggled already so much. So, like, I was in this Boston Comic Con. My mom took me to Boston Comic Con. And there was a Spider-Man, Superman, and you would see all these different heroes, and you would see kids dressed up as them. And I was like, why isn't there this wheelchair superhero? So, and then after my surgeries, Make-A-Wish Foundation, accepted my wish of going to India. And when I was in India, this old woman ran to me and gave me a big hug and said, I wish my grandson was like you, who came out because he's in a wheelchair, he's casted out, and he feels ashamed, and he doesn't want to come out. Even I told him that I can carry you on my back. And, I realized that this problem that, wheelchair users been hidden behind the wall of shame, it's not something just exists in Afghanistan, but all over the world. So this superhero will not only give hope to kids who end up in a wheelchair for the first time, but also it will motivate those existing ones that, you can come out, you can still achieve your dreams, you can still work hard, because this is based on someone that was exactly like you and exactly where you are now. So, and Walter Man will not be, the first superhero. We have another four original superheroes that we will also be based on other wheelchair users from the developing world who are making an impact in their community, or we will help them bring their dream to life. But we start with Vulture Man, and his tagline is "Hope is on the way."
Nice.
Can you tell us a little bit about the character itself?
So the character is, they're part of. Well, the character is basically inspired by my life and my ideas, and it's about hope, peace, and not giving up. And one of its superpowers, because I always wished that I had this magical power where I could make the entire world peaceful, especially starting with Afghanistan, because, people have been through so much and in pain for so long. Imagine all of a sudden having a world where it's, everybody is like a brotherhood and sisterhood. Everybody love each other. There is no hate, and it's peaceful. So one of Vulture Man's main superpower is that he can make a criminal see the consequence of their crime before they commit it. So that's based on the idea, because in Afghanistan, when a kid first loses a parent due to war, or a part of their body, they become so depressed that sometimes other people take advantage of them. Okay, come join us and fight for us, stuff like that, which sounds crazy. But so in my case, in Walter Man, I have given him powers that are, I think, is peace related or hope related. And that's one of the powers. And the other powers, obviously, you have to read the book to find out.
Okay, fair enough.
Does Wheelchair Man have a nemesis?
Well, many people ask that question, and I feel like anybody who believes in violence is basically not Walter Man's friend. And besides, to be honest with you, I feel like we see superheroes. I go see superhero movies, and kids go to them, and the hero is become a hero after he destroys everything and rescues this one person. And I feel like, what is your message to the young children? That the only way to make peace is use violence? That's not, that's not how it should be. You can use peace to bring peace, just like Gandhi did, just like Martin Luther King did, just like Nelson Mandela did. Mm. And those are real life examples. And myself, when I was in Afghanistan, I always wanted to become a commander when I grew up, so I could, go out and kill these bastards who put me in the situation I was. And when I came here for the first time, I learned about Gandhi. And I realized, and he's like one of my superheroes now, that how he changed, how he used peace and nonviolence to bring peace and defeat the biggest empire in the world. So there are real humans who are superheroes. We don't have to create fictional superheroes for our young children, for them to admire. There are so many real superhero, real people in the world that we can celebrate. So I want to, unfortunately in the book there is so much, because it's based on a real life. Unfortunately there is violence, and there is pain, and there is a struggle. And the first book in the series of Vulture Man is all about that, and all about the characters. He actually start using his powers and realize some of his powers in the second book when he goes back to Afghanistan in search of his sister. And that's when we will actually also introduce Captain Afghanistan, who will be based in the life of my best friend, who, when I left Afghanistan, he was unfortunately living in the streets, and I don't know what happened to him and where he is now.
Tell us a little bit about what the status of the book is, because I understand you have a GoFundMe campaign for it.
Yeah, well, the first issue in the book, actually, we were able to publish it online through Robin Power's website, and I know it's a bit expensive, and that's because it's more like a fundraiser to start the work on the second book.
Right.
So our GoFundMe pages are continuous, so we can keep raising money to continue to deliver the next series. And we were able to raise some money, and we have actually ordered 2,000 hard copies that hopefully will be receiving them soon to distribute. But at this point, the first book in the series available online, and that's how we basically are able to create these, is by people's contribution. And our WheelChairman's GoFund pages is still going, so people could go and visit it. They could also go and visit Rum Power's website if they want to learn about our team and other things we have there.
Yeah, that's actually. I was just going to ask about that. So you have a team of people who are working on the comic. It's not a one-man show.
No, it's not. We actually have, starting a non-profit it's 10 times harder than starting a for-profit, because you have the IRS you have to get through, and there's so many different things, layers to it. So obviously I couldn't do it alone, and I had to find the right people to mentor me. So I was fortunate enough to have two very smart mentors. One is Donald Lombardi. He actually have his own nonprofit, and another is Jonathan Fleming. He's a venture capitalist and also a professor at Salon School of Management at MIT. So they both really, helped me through the whole process. And also Nixon Peabody, beside that they helped with the patent, they also helped with setting up the nonprofit. And then obviously, I do art myself, but as you say, I cannot be a one-man show. So I have a very talented artist, Ariel Epstein, who creates the beautiful arts you can see in the comic book. And she will be, she actually joined this journey when we had nothing. It was when we just had the idea. She had a part-time job, and once we started it, we were able to, hire her, and she left her other job, and she's gonna be in this journey with us for a long time. And I feel very grateful to find somebody who believed in the vision as much as I did. So we are a very good team together.
That's awesome. Tell me, did you always have an interest in comic books?
No, that's the funny thing. I never touched a comic book. I never read a comic book. And the interesting thing was, a lot of people also tell me, why don't you go write a novel about your life? I said, the way I want to send my message to a young kid, they wouldn't want to read a novel.
Right.
They want. Also, another good thing about comic books is, if I write, right now there are people in Afghanistan who want to actually help translate this into Farsi. But I feel like in any country, it doesn't matter if you you should be able to understand the story by looking at the images. So, because comic books really help you understand, even if you can't really read or you are not very interested in reading. We also, thinking about that, we also have WheelChair available in coloring. So you can actually follow the footpath of WheelChair and create your own story as WheelChair. So we also have that available that hopefully, depending on how this goes, then we would order coloring books for kids to color in themselves. But no, I never read comics and was never interested in it. I know that sounds weird, but
Well, what about now? Like, so now that you are a comic creator, do you find that you're reading more comics?
oh yeah, I mean, I did. I took a 2-week course in learning about comics and about panels, and I read so much. So I have done enough research, um, you know, because it's really people. I don't know how people think it's not very easy, because I have to take this story that you know is so long and so complicated, and as you put it, so many twists in it. I mean, I explained to people like I died 3 times and came back to life. And it is like, when I was 6, when my father, that's the time I died. And then I came to the US and I had all these surgeries that I almost, died. Um, so there are so many different times in my life. How could you squish that into a 30-page so kids are interested?
Right.
And I thought the best way of doing it was by creating, and it's about time. We need a WheelChair superhero, and so it took us a while to squish it in that 30-page that moves fast, so you can keep going, and everything is fed beautifully together. And we'll continue to the next one, but all of the books I want to keep them short and fast paced for kids.
You should pitch the idea to Netflix. We need a Netflix original.
That's
There you
right.
go.
We have actually, there is after our launch, we did get I think 2-3 publishers, but we didn't want to go with publishers because I want to do it myself. This is from a WheelChair user for other WheelChair users and other, anybody. I want to tell the story the way I want to tell it and do it the way I want to do it. Also, we did get 3 film offers,
Wow.
but it was too early to, do anything right away. So we really turned them down at this point. But hey, who knows? I watch Netflix every night. I hope they hear this podcast and come to me and then we'll negotiate.
Trust us. We hope they're listening to our podcast too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, what are your plans for the future? Are you looking to do some more inventions, or are you pretty much strictly just working on the comic right now?
Well, I want to license the inventions because I looked into manufacturing and doing it myself, and it's a lot of work that way. And I feel like right after WheelChair Man, we want to introduce WheelChair Woman, WheelChair Girl, and WheelChair Boy, and we have already actually created a cover for each superheroes of how we want them to look like. So for me, I think at this point I need to eventually want to turn, as we grow WheelChair Man into a video game, and hopefully like make a deal with some big company like Netflix or Marvel to turn it into a movie. So I feel like, I want to kind of, I have a lot of other invention I'm working on. I want to kind of license those and then put my focus on developing and creating the superheroes and then tie the two together. For example, my goal is to make some money on licensing and put that into the nonprofit, and then WheelChairman can actually use the products, which kind of, it's marketing, good marketing. So it will help each other. WheelChairman will market the products, and then in return, we will donate those products for cheap in developing world. So the vision is not a very small vision. I have this long vision, and I have to work to get there. So let's see what the future presents.
Yeah, it sounds like you're going to have a busy few years.
Yeah, your hands are full.
Yeah. But right now I'm focusing on the superhero. Hopefully in a couple years, I think, when I have all that 3 books in the series of WheelChairman, I want to go to these big companies, if they don't come looking for me, and see if they are interested in making it into a movie.
Well, just remember, if DC comes to you and wants to make it into a movie, don't do it.
Why is that?
Because they haven't found a superhero they can't mess up yet.
Yeah, they messed up. They messed up Superman, and that's hard to mess up. You got to really work to mess up Superman.
The story of Superman and WheelChairman is very similar. Superman is, if you look at it, he's a fictional hero. WheelChairman is real. Like in that, he was adopted and he was brought from another planet into this,
right,
to Earth. You can put the story side by side, and WheelChairman is the true life story of Superman. But it's a real story.
That's right.
Mohammad, you've done more than your 20 years on this earth than I've done in my 45, and my hat's off to you.
Yeah, it really is a remarkable story.
It is.
If people are interested in learning more about WheelChairman or Rim Power, do you have a website that they can go to, or an email address that they can reach out to you?
Yeah, so Rim Power, I have a website, rimpower.org. My email is in there, the information is there, and we also have our GoFundMe page they could visit, and just search WheelChairman and Rim Power, and they are all come up easily.
Perfect. And we'll, like Ryan said, we'll link to all the sites in our show notes if anyone's interested.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for joining
time.
us, Mohammed.
Yeah, and you've got a fantastic attitude, and wish you all the best in the world.
Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thanks, Mohammed.
Okay,
All right.
bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
20 years old, changing the world.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
We think of our first world problems, right? And
Yeah.
they're nothing compared
Yeah,
to
exactly.
other parts of the world.
I was in a hospital for a week when I broke my arm when I was in grade 11, and Mackenzie didn't have a physiotherapist, so I had to go to the hospital in Prince George, and I had to actually be admitted as a patient there so that I could have physical therapy done twice a day on my arm. And that was the worst experience of my life. And that was a week. I can't imagine living in a hospital for 7 years.
No kidding. No kidding. Yeah, like that.
On a war-torn country.
That's a better
right?
movie there than
Yeah,
the WheelChair Man movie.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, the story of his life,
Incredible.
it is. But that being said, I like this. I like this WheelChair Man character. I think that's cool. I think he's absolutely right. Most comic book and comic book movies, it is all about violence.
It is.
It is about who is the most powerful superhero, who can outblast, who can pummel the other into mush. You don't see his particular take on superheroes that often, or if at all. So
Indeed.
yeah, I think it's great.
Well, I think that those superheroes would probably tone it down really quick if they started getting bills.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you knocked down the Prudential building. That'll be $23 million, please.
That's right.
Whoa, I better go fight in fields from now
Yeah,
on.
that's right. Yeah. I mean, Bruce Wayne might last for a while, but certainly, I mean, Superman's not making a huge income. He's not pulling out down big dollars
No,
from.
those reporters don't make a lot of money.
Hell no.
Or photographers, right? Is he a photographer?
No, he's a.
That's Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's you're thinking Peter Parker, but. Yeah. So there's that too.
Yeah, you should check it out.
Yeah, I was surprised too because I actually did a Google search for wheelchair superhero, and there aren't any.
No.
I was stunned because I figured there had to be somewhere.
No, I mean, and I guess you could call Professor Xavier, but again, like
I guess you could.
But
yeah.
he's in a wheelchair, but it has nothing to do with his powers, really.
Yeah.
Like it's complete gimmick.
Yeah.
So, and even then, like they've gone through periods of the X-Men comics where he just gets up and he gets healed and he can walk around for a while. I think they built him a power suit or something at one point.
Mm.
So,
Not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, did you see Logan?
Yes.
Oh, was that an amazing movie or what?
The little girl in that looks exactly like my niece.
Oh, really?
I am now terrified of my niece.
Yeah, what a great movie. That's our other recommendation. That's podcast approved. Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's excellent. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
I haven't watched any of the other Wolverine movies I got sitting on the shelf over there.
Oh,
You know
really?
what? It doesn't even matter. You
No?
don't even need to. No,
No?
just go straight to Logan. Because to be honest, they'll seem cheesy after you've watched Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's gritty.
Yeah,
I haven't even seen Doctor Strange yet.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Doctor Strange. See, we're gonna just devolve right into geeky
geekdom.
movie talk.
There you go.
Right, the AT Banter film rating scale.
That's right.
But yeah, I would encourage anyone who is interested to check out the show notes and check out Wheelchair Man because check out Mohammed's story because it's really, really engaging and it's pretty inspiring.
It is.
And most importantly, pitch some money towards his GoFundMe campaign.
Yep.
That's right. And check out our Instagram. It's new. Speaking of which, you want to send me that selfie that
Oh, yeah. I'll
because
do
then I'll
that.
fire it up on the. Hey Ryan,
Hey, Rob.
where can people find us?
In the Guitar Dungeon.
That's true. For most days,
Tuesdays or Wednesdays
we're
between 10 and
watching-
2.
We're watching Ellen.
No, that's at 3.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, it's part of my daytime routine
no,
now.
okay. Well, other than the Guitar Dungeon, where can people find us on the intraweb?
On the intraweb, they can find us at www.atbanter.com.
And where can they find Canadian assistive technology, Ryan?
They can find them at canasstech.com.
You just wanted to say ass. They can also email us at God, I hate this. I hate our I hate our email.
44 episodes,
I
and
don't.
you still
it doesn't
can't.
matter.
It-
Okay.
I know what it is.
Okay, go for it.
It's atbanterpodcast@gmail.com.
How easy can that be? It's
I don't
the
know.
AT
Apparently it
Banter
can't-
podcast.
Obviously, it can't be that easy. Listen, I have a lot of my
You've got a
brain.
block of some kind.
My
does, yeah.
brain has a lot of information in it, and
Geekdom.
it can't fit anything else. So I have trouble with these things.
I
Okay,
see. All right. I apologize for my.
I'll do better next week with the cider.
Yeah.
Where else? So they can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Instagram.
We are very excited about our Instagram account.
Woohoo.
See,
I am thrilled to bits.
I
That's
know,
right.
I can tell.
More pictures I can't see. Woohoo. It's all right.
It's not all
leave
about
posts
you,
here.
Ryan.
Yeah.
I know. People write posts. I can follow them.
It's largely about you, but
No.
Yeah, since it is your guitar dungeon.
No.
that's right.
These are most of your toys.
Couldn't do this without you guys.
Aw.
Aw, that's so sweet.
All right. Well, that little dose of sentimentality will end the show.
That's right. Get out.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. I've been Rob Minot,
I've been Ryan Fleury.
And I remain Steve Barkley.
and we will see you guys next week.
This podcast has been brought to you by Canadian Assistive Technology, providing low vision and blindness solutions across Canada. Find us online at www.canasstech.com. That's CANASSTECH.com, or call us toll free at 1-844-795-8324. For all your assistive technology servicing needs, call Chaos Technical Services at 778-847-6840, or find them online at chaostechnicalservices.com. Music provided by bensound.com.